All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We have an interesting presentation here today from Jason Gant, also known as Bitcoin Master. He's one of our local Bitcoin miners here in North Carolina. As far as I'm aware, the biggest and probably only real full-time professional industrial scale Bitcoin miner in North Carolina. And he's going to tell us about his newest project, where he's actually looking to move overseas and take advantage of some opportunities across the pond in Africa. So Jason, take it away.
Okay, thank you very much for that lovely introduction. Basically, what I'm going to be presenting to you today is a little bit of what I'm currently doing, and then as far as what we plan on doing in as far as what we plan on doing in Africa. Let's see if we can fix this real quick. What currently what have a very large Bitcoin mine here in North Carolina. Currently, as soon as we're completely finished with this recent batch that we a little bit over 35 petahash, and by the end of the year, we're hoping to have 150 petahash. North Carolina, we may stop at 52 petahash depending upon how quickly we're able to implement what I'm about to discuss today. So basically, we're going to talk about the overview of it, introduction to it, why we want to go into Africa. You know, a lot of the opportunity there is that it's a very youthful population. They are technology faster than anywhere else in the world as it comes into their area. Opportunity there is to actually bring in the internet into their cabling, and fiber optic is far too expensive to the masses, as well as a lot of other political issues that prevent that from happening. So we've developed a SP using microwave routing through all of our different towers, and we're able to be able to provide internet to fast speeds to pretty much anyone in the entire the DRC down all the way to South Africa. Basically, this opportunity is going to be worth $3.5 billion in the we are looking to tie into our data center into one of the undersea cables, using a 400 gigabyte per second main fiber trunk, and being able to utilize that as the main data frame. So there is a pent-up demand in the African region. The fiber and all that is within South Africa, but it hasn't really gotten any further than that. As well as there's lots of parts of South Africa that still have been waiting on it for the past 10 years. To take this and go that last several miles, everybody's been waiting, but delays. So also, you know, we're going to be using in some areas it's unlicensed, other areas it's going to be licensed. 5 megahertz and 2.4 megahertz band. All of it will be encrypted, as well as we are presenting a new microwave router where we will have an attached built-in computer, Linux-based computer, and a Bitcoin miner of 600 gigahash. That's opening us up to several different opportunities. Being an ISP, we're going to be taking Bitcoin mining to the next level. One of the options is that with Bitcoin mining, it's what we all know in Bitcoin mining is going to happen. It's just a matter of you have to get bigger and bigger and bigger. You have to grow your data center larger and using more and more power. The problem with that is that eventually it's going to get to the point where we're going to see further and further consolidation of Bitcoin mining. And one of the problems with that is that it's going to put it into the hands of a few. Not being one of those few. However, as far as what's good for Bitcoin, the decentralization, even though most of the mining is consolidated, that it's still decentralized, having a large mining pools that are allowing the end users to vote. Whereas like F2 Ampool, it's almost impossible to voice your opinion and to have any type of say within those pools as to how the development of Bitcoin is going to be. Want it their way, the rest of the world wants it their way. So the way to a lot of this is going to go into an area where we can utilize a win-win synergy, the ISP idea, and bringing it into areas where we have low regulation, high demand, and we are going to combine that with Bitcoin mining, 600 to eventually we'll get it to 1 terahash per unit installed in a customer's home. That unit will be mining 24/7 for us as well as for the end user. Going to allow us to be anywhere from 6 to 10 ether hash years. So basically, at that time, we also plan on developing different cryptocurrency. We also plan on providing different cryptocurrencies that are currently on the market, and we are going to not only do that, but implement a lot of educational programs. The internet today within Africa is only a 16% penetration, and with that, there's already 167 million users. As you see, it's a market that is ripe for proper technology and with the ability to come in with bringing the Bitcoin mining underneath it, helps support the structure that is fairly poor. Plenty of areas where we're going to focus in on first that are upper middle class, and get out into the urban areas. As you can see by our 2025, we're expecting a 300 billion as the contribution to the GDP. Now, basically, as we bring this online, we expect to help improve Africans' private consumption by helping them develop their own businesses, helping them bringing in the educational programs, and all sorts of different services, not only to enterprise, but to e-commerce, just data acquisition, data analysis. By combining all that together, not only the African continent, but we will also be able to utilize all that information amongst different amongst all of our different, I guess, partnerships that we'll be developing. We're just within the South Africa. The demand in the South African area is about $500 million a year for data center. We will also be helping to develop, as well as rapid adoption of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies throughout Africa. Just recently, the banks got together within South Africa and on using and helping businesses within the region utilize not only Bitcoin, but to also utilize Ethereum. Our purposes on the Bitcoin, on our data center, will be to help educate the population on how they can use Ethereum for a lot of their contracts, structures and whatnot, as well as Bitcoin and eventually our own side chain. Africa is one of the fastest growing regions for mobile technology and data play, and we're also plan on not only with the current mobile companies within the area, but we also plan on developing some of our own apps, the smartphones within the region. Basically, as you can see, that China is the largest share of Bitcoin mining in the entire world. That's really given them a lot of the power to be able to control how things are going and to really issues. So one of the ways that we're going to be able to take away some of that power and distribute it throughout the world more evenly is by going into Africa. By basically helping to facilitate more decentralization, or facilitate more of a synergy between the population and the Bitcoin miners. One of the things that we're going to see eventually here in throughout the world is that when Bitcoin's in every country that have the Bitcoin mines, have the entrepreneurs who are building the successful businesses based on Bitcoin, based on cryptocurrencies, they're going to be the countries that are able to tax the processing and the fees, and all of that will be coming through these major centers. All of the rest of the world will be just vassal states. They will not be able to that revenue that is all coming from their countries into the other countries. So it's, unfortunately, it looks like third world is going to be where most of this is going to take place, just because of the regulation here in the United States that's preventing us from doing this type of business model within the U.S. So a lot of people ask, so how and how are we going to be able to do this, and what gives us the experience to be able to do this? Well, developed a great team, not only myself, which I am the president of Digital Mining Inc. For this venture is Neo Technologies, and I'm going to be the president of Neo Technologies as well. I consider myself a cryptocurrency expert, not the most, but I'm doing pretty good. Currently, I have one of the largest Bitcoin mining facilities in the United States. I've built several businesses into multi-million-dollar firms. A company called Service Express, which I sold to a Fortune 100 company. I was the COO of Anderson Homes. I'm a Six Sigma Black Belt. Yes, in business administration. One of my partners is Vusi Vuma within Africa. 216, which is a strategy and technology firm. He's also been very implemental. He's in the mobile internet strategy, and he's also part of the mobile IT happening in Africa. He's been expert in that been closed to most people. He's also previously been in the R&D, pharma. He's been cited by U.S. Congress. He's also helping us within the region. Not only that, but we also have Carol Spears, former Oracle for GE, founded many successful businesses, Bitcoin innovator, politically tied to many countries in Africa, which gives us a great opportunity there. Social advocate, and she's also currently developing a 10 megawatt solar farm in South Africa. So we're also putting together others, but a great team that's going to help us roll all of this out. But the three of us are the main principals for this endeavor. So basically, we through Neo Technologies and digital mining, we'll be providing not only data centers for SP, but the enterprise and data analytics, cloud, all sorts of other opportunities within that space. We are already licensed in Swaziland. We have pending licenses in the DRC, Zimbabwe, Mozambique. Forgive me on these pronunciations, as well as South Africa. We already have licensing in South Africa. The main area of our first focus is going to be Botswana as South Africa. One of the main reasons for going into Botswana, and then later we'll be going into Kenya and other areas, but first Botswana, is mainly because of the stranglehold that the current was the ISPs within the region have on this market. It's a highly developed market, but a very very good upper middle class area that is just for whatever reason has not been very good at being able to technology, mainly because of right-of-way issues and the fact that the area does not want to upgrade. So the licensing within the area which we have means we have a race to gain some market share. We plan on doing this by taking advantage of the fact that we'll be able to come in at a much lower price than our competition. The fact that we're going to be integrating everything with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So within the entire continent of Africa, there's no Stratum servers currently. We will be bringing in plenty of Stratum servers throughout Africa, and we will be helping to fix the fragmented cryptocurrency space within the entire continent. Basically, as we are able to very rapidly use our ISP within these main urban corridors and grab that foothold, then at that point we'll be able to expand outward, continue to dominate the region before other large players begin to come in and try and take market share. We already have superior engineering solutions. We have a great IT department. We've already got highly trained and responsive operations and maintenance teams. We've got best of breed call centers, which we also plan on doing that throughout for enterprise as well. Access to most reliable international broadband, which is a OC 795 or call it, but it's the largest underwater fiber optic band trunk. And we will be putting our data centers within optical locations, being able to maximize our strategic core services is going to be the ISP, hotspots, business and enterprise solutions. We are going to be developing the computers, which we will be using for our own and within our own area, but we will also be selling them the globe. We will be able to solve a lot of problems within the African region. We're going to help to drive economic growth within Swaziland. We're going to be for consumers and businesses by providing the educational to a little bit more here in a minute. So this is our main focus area, primarily because of its on investment. Now, our main data center is going to be in New London, South Africa. We're going to take advantage of a special economic zone. It's going to be mainly because of the OC 786 fiber trunk of 40 gigabytes per second. Broadcast via microwave would be a very small band microwave that will be broadcasting into remote locations, to be able to overcome a lot of the issues that other ISPs in the area have had. We're going to be providing 50 plus high-tech jobs within that region, and many more high-tech jobs as we are going to be putting together some of the best teams that we possibly can. Utilizing a lot of the alternative energy that's in the area, such as within the region, there's about 4,000 megawatts of wind power we'll be utilizing. We'll be sending our broadcasting our ISP via microwave, which can be encrypted. Utilizing the win-win synergy, we will be by the Bitcoin mining to every router that we provide. Every router will also have a small Linux-based computer the customer can utilize on that computer that we will be developing on the platform. The best way I can kind of describe it is it'll be similar to the way, in the old days, America Online and whatnot, it was dialed into a destination into America Online servers. And then that was a place that provided you with news, information, sorts of things, but you really weren't online. And that's kind of what we're going to be developing it as so that we can maximize advertising revenue first couple of phases. But there will be options to be able to take our browser out into the internet. And so that way we're going to be, the fact that we're going to be using, they'll be using our browsers, it'll be our advertisers that'll be We are partnering with a large uh, search engine right now. If we're able to make that partnership correctly, then we'll have the lion's share of the advertising revenue. First is we're going to come in and we're going to bid out the data center, provide monthly revenue through Bitcoin, and as a platform for growth, utilizing that high monthly revenue coming in, be able to go into markets that have been a bit less of a return on investments, or they've been completely ignored. So we'll be able to go into those areas without having to raise any more funds. We are developing partnerships with other companies. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities for other companies to join in with us. We can try and bring the best of everything to our customers. Actually, we will be developing our own side chain that'll be tied to a Bitcoin for stability of price. This will help us to bring in a lot of the educational programs, and the customer will be able to take one of these courses and earn sidechain token along the way. So our educational model for this is going to be that basically going to be able to take this course, by the end of it have some sort of financial that they will be able to use towards implementing what they've just learned. So this will be a way that not only can we educate, but we can help bring these people into the economic platform that we're trying to help people develop, either through ISP, through the internet business, whether they decide to go out and open up out within the region, whatever it may be, we plan on being there to help them with that. Basically, we are looking currently for our first phase is going to be rolling out the Bitcoin mining facility as well as the data center at the same time within the same building, requiring a minimum of $5 million for this investment, which we already have a commitment for. Phase 2 is where we're going to be rolling out the Bitcoin integrated mining router. This is going to be requiring a $25 million investment on raising that hopefully in the first round as well. Also going to be developing the cryptocurrencies within the region. We plan on seeking help for different platforms such as Ethereum and maybe Dash, some other area. We're not quite sure how this is going to play out, but if not, we'll be developing our own. As you can see, we'll be up and running very quickly. This is our phase 1. This should only take us 3 months to get to this revenue. Early estimates indicate that our revenues from our ISP is going to be up to $100 million the first year. There are some risks and some considerations, but we've tried to really answer a lot of these. So investors, all of their funds are going to be insured. Not only that, but a lot of people say, well, it's got all these political problems, got all these issues. Well, that's where people like Carol and other key strategic people that we're bringing into the company are going to be key. For instance, Carol, her father is a minister. She has uncles that are kings, and I mean, a lot of political ties that she's going to help smooth out for us. Thing that we need to understand is that there's endless opportunity for growth. And we're going to try and keep all that focus so that we don't spread out too far and kind of end up taking small market shares but missing out on the larger picture. Providing of free educational tools, that is something that we are going to do regardless. So one of our that is very important to all three of us, and the fact that we plan on developing and to maybe work with colleges so we can develop some virtual, maybe some agro centers or something, some sort of manufacturers that maybe can provide educational for agriculture. This opportunities within that space, but this is something that we have to do it. To do this, no matter what else anybody else says, this one part is going to be done regardless. It's our way of giving back to the world. So of course they're going to be using all of the special tax exempt opportunities within the region, such as New London and other areas where we virtually pay very small taxes, reduce or have zero VAT tax, things of that nature. We will plan on being able to provide monthly dividends to all of our investors. First phase is completed. So we appreciate the opportunity here. Let's see if we can fix that real quick. There we go. Any questions?
Cool. Yeah. So I know you mentioned to me at one point that you were planning on trying to tie in some solar power. That was, I guess, with the at-home miners you wanted to supplement with solar power. Is that right?
Yeah. Basically, we're going to have several different, I would say, models of the Bitcoin mining integrated router. First, for our ISP, all of it's going to be integrated within the router. There'll be a box that basically they'll have the HDMI or other for their monitor, as well as the keyboard and whatnot. And they'll just simply plug all this in, turn it on, be based on Linux-based system. Some probably not in Ubuntu. We may do something a little bit more user-friendly. This is what we're going to be doing for our ISP. Now, this is going to be, within the region, it's 220 for the plug-in model. But within the rural areas that we plan on really trying to get these out there for free to the rural residents for the educational purposes, is so that electricity within that area is either non-existent or it is fragmented. Those people, we plan on making it rugged, making it waterproof, having a battery pack, as well as a small solar panel for the power. And then those will be probably implementing a small, maybe a 7 or 10-inch LED with it as well. For a lot of these regions, we plan on building schools that are going to be self-sustaining. This is going to be tied into the sidechain project, where basically able to, as their students are going through these, the school is going to be able to reap that reward as a whole for the school. 100 students that are going through this curriculum, well, they've got the benefits of all of that 100 students. And then some of the aspects that we plan on doing as far as that Now we will have a model that we plan on selling to other people throughout the world. Be, U.S. version for 120. I don't know how well these are going to sell, just because the fact that we're building this, as we're going to be putting out in our phase 2 is about 10 million of these units out. So 10 million of 600 to 1 terahash, that's a lot of hash power. We do understand that, as I get closer and closer to being 40, 30, somewhere in that range, that's when penalties begin to come in. And so we'll, as much of that as we can for Bitcoin, and a lot of that for the side chains and other chains. So through this Parallella platform, we're able to use not only for Bitcoin, Ethereum, X11, whatever the case may be. Makes no difference to us. The thing about Parallella is it gives us the computing power within a small space. 1,024 cores on one chip.
So it seems to me that one of the big challenges with mining is just your uptime, right? So I know that in the early days of at-home mining and even early ASICs and shipping them out to people, one of the problems was just that it became a full-time job, and I think a lot of companies that were selling ASICs stopped doing it because they were having to spend so much time with support and trying to help their customers not lose time and lose money. So I guess how are you approaching it from a usability and reliability standpoint? Because I'm assuming at the very least, if you have even just a few thousand of these devices out in different homes, that there are going to be people having issues, and there's going to be some associated support costs where you have to help them out if something goes wrong, right?
Yes, that's where we are already developing our call center, so we will have top-notch customer service, where they will be, by the time that we roll this out, our call center is going to be probably 500 or 600 people strong. Plan on doing not only call centers for other businesses, but also for our own. If we see that we're needing all of that for just ourselves, then we will push those off to another side business for that call center, and then just primarily have everything for ourselves. So no, we'll be able to walk everybody through not only that, but within the software, the firmware, it's going to be self-rebooting. Issue, it seizes up, it goes zombie. Well, it's going to go zombie for no more than 5 minutes. Okay, and every single thing is going. All of our routers are going to be blockchain tied, so they are all going to they'll all be within our database. And if there's an issue, they'll ping back. They'll say, "Hey, I've got an issue." So the customer might not even know that they have an issue because their ISP part is still working. The small computer is still working, but the miner has had a problem. We'll simply mail them a new one and it's back the old one.
Gotcha.
So, there's a lot of different opportunities. We will have plenty of maintenance staff, plenty of even though we're not going to need quite as much as like a traditional cable company, just because of the fact that we're there, we don't have to maintain anything other than our towers. We maintained primarily by the customer, and if they have an issue, they'll be maintained by us.
What about, I guess, heat and noise issues? That also seems to be, one of the main problems with at-home mining these days. Or are you going with a fairly?
That's the great thing about what we're developing. Our chip is about this size. This is about how big of the miner is going to be. Using Parallella, we can get multiple chips on one board each one of those chips having 1,024 cores. Very powerful. Now, this particular one, very silent. Prototype that I have is here it running, and maybe you can hear it in the background. It's running right now.
Not too much.
You can't. So, yeah. So there's a little bit of a very slight noise, nothing more than a standard computer. So, that's something that's just going to be associated with it. We have looked at possibly doing some water cooling to help reduce sound if it's an issue. That most people aren't. Most people are conditioned to that little bit of a noise from their computers.
Cool. Definitely sounds like an ambitious project. You've got a lot of different moving pieces you'll have to coordinate.
Yes. Well, it's a matter of just bringing in the best from every field and putting them all in the right opportunity. And believe me, you make anything happen.
All right. Well, I guess, does this mean you'll be spending a fair amount of time in Africa?
Actually, probably for the next year or so. And Africa's gorgeous. There are parts of Africa that just, you're like, wow, this is, most beautiful place on this planet. And so, yeah, I plan on spending some time there. Out and yes, I'll be there a lot. After that, no, I'll be back here. I'll be able to do anything I need to from my home here.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for sharing your plans with us, and definitely look forward to getting updates as you roll it out.
Yes. And like I said, always looking. Currently, we are dealing with one VC company. They are looking to bring in other VC companies to help share some of the liability, as well as we will be rolling out, well, too many people have asked about it, so we will be rolling out a small portion to the public, keep them within 500 total shareholders, but we will be rolling that out for a few opportunities to the public. We will be, maybe they can join together to purchase a certain as a group, but that is coming soon.
Great. All right, I guess we'll wrap it up then. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Bye.